101 guys. Now, many people are saying it's 100 guys, but it's actually 101 guys. In one day. Gang, when you actually look into the details of this situation, it looks way worse than what some out there are saying that it is. We got a lot to talk about in this video. And yes, this right here is kind of sort of like the first of two videos, not just on this right here, but the OnlyFans issue as a whole. So make sure you guys stick around.
Be the first person to be with 1,000 guys in one day.
Logistically, how long are you going to spend with each man?
In out, I'm hoping a couple seconds at most. We're hoping for some other girls there, make it a bit of an event that the guys actually want to come to and enjoy. And, you know, they don't just get 2 seconds, they get a little bit longer. So I started doing porn a year ago now, and I just loved it so much. And I think my porn was getting quite mundane, and that's when I decided to kind of ramp it up and do some challenges. I'm doing what I love and what I enjoy and making a career out of it, so what's wrong with that, you know?
I spent 14 consecutive hours getting ran through, and now I'm going to be doing 24 because I'm going to be going for the world record early February next year. I'm going to go for 1,000.
Okay, you saw that there. You're probably wondering what she means by like a pump in, pump out. I don't think I need to explain that, but of course, I want to go ahead and let you guys know right quick that this right here is probably going to be one of the most graphic videos that I've ever done. But of course, I'm still going to keep it for the most part family friendly. There's a lot of, I'll put it this way here. There's a lot of needles that are going to be threaded on this particular topic. But of course, we got to talk about this girl here, Lily Phillips, and the excursion of 100 men in one day. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, this girl here has got some emotional issues. She's got some problems. And, of course, there's also some psychological issues to go along with those emotional issues, which oftentimes are linked. I'm going to link this video right here from Dr. Todd Grande in the description box. Listen to Dr. Todd Grande from time to time. He's pretty good. He's also kind of entertaining, too. But still, I actually went through, read the article, got a broader explanation, not just from him, but another source as well, on exactly what really happened here. And trust me, it's a lot worse than what has initially been reported. But of course, there are people out there who are saying that this right here is really just a cry for help.
Doing this stunt, she was begging someone, anyone, to stop her. And that's the most infuriating thing about this whole situation, is that nobody in Lily's life, be it a friend, a family member, any loved one, any staff member, even a follower of hers, nobody stopped her from doing this. And of course, there's only so much that we can do as just observers of this situation. But the least we can do is speak out about it. And that's what I'm trying to do. I released.
Okay. I like Mary Morgan. I think she's a pretty cool chick. And I think that what's going on here is that a lot of these ladies are reacting to the act itself and why it is that she would do that. But I'm here to tell you guys right now that it's not the initial that you need to be paying attention to. It's the secondary and the third that you need to be paying attention to, because the secondary and the third will lead you to the ultimate conclusion. So why in the world did this girl do this? Well, let me play this little montage for you guys, and you guys will see pretty quickly why it is that this chick chose to do exactly what she did.
Saturday, I got run through by 101 guys. Now, I've had a lot of backlash so far about it, and I've seen some of the videos. And
Hello, from your experience, what type of guy do you prefer? Asian,
one that's
white?
got a cock. The pill, the sexual revolution, and I think OnlyFans and porn is sort of the end stage culmination of that cultural shift. And when you guys sit there and say, I feel so empowered by doing this, I do it because I love sex, I know you may think that, but there are forces that are a lot more powerful than any of us here. There are corporations that want you to be sitting there and saying that because they want you to buy into this narrative, because they are intent on the destruction of Western civilization. And the way that they have always done this empirically, whether it's socialism, communism, Marxism, has been going after the family unit. And what you guys do is detrimental to the family unit.
Shots fired.
I just love shagging.
I threw that bit with Natalie Winters in at the very end because I think that right there is what it really truly is. This girl right here just loves to screw. Now, if you look at this girl in the face, you think to yourself, my gosh, she's attractive. She could have any man she wanted. And that right there would probably be true in another lifetime. But now that she's done bedded down 100 guys, We're finding out that roughly 30 of these guys actually canceled before going in there, meaning that there were 30 guys who suddenly grew a heart or grew a brain and said, I'm out of here, I don't need to do this. But they replaced them with 30 more guys off the street who were perfectly willing to go through with it. But we'll get to the men here soon. So why? Is it psychological? Is it mental? I'll tell you right now what I think it is. And you guys will see this in the video that I have planned tomorrow to talk about the Sophie Rain issue and the real problem with OnlyFans. The real reason why it is that the OnlyFans situation is so daggone evil. You'll see that tomorrow. And I think that is the bravado of it. You see, based upon that girl's body language, and of course you'll see this over the course of this bit in this video because we're going to be talking about some of the stuff in the documentary itself, which of course will include some clips, no sex or anything like that there. Obviously I run a family-friendly show. And you'll kind of come to the conclusion that, man, this girl right here probably did not know what the hell she was doing, or maybe it did go exactly the opposite of the way she expected it, because obviously she's somebody who probably has not been a whore her entire life, just being a whore for the time being, or opened up to being a hoe. Meaning that she was probably a quiet girl, shielded, not really into guys so much, maybe even a little bit nerdy, even a little bit geeky. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, she couldn't get no attention. So she tried harder and harder and harder to get male attention and male validation. And that right there is why we are at the stage that we are at today. And no, I don't think this right here is just some trick of hers to get back at men. I'm just simply saying that I think that this girl right here put out the bravado that she was this great big giant hoe and she was willing to screw just about anything and everything. But men oftentimes get turned off by this. I mean, seriously, the only men who go after prostitutes typically tend to be the lower class men who cannot get laid, or men who, quite frankly, just have nothing more than, let's just say, no real affinity for actual whores, which is exactly what this girl was being. I mean, we typically don't like using hoes that have been beyond the first night. I'm just saying that once you've been spent like that, or you keep getting spent like that, that typically tends to be a bit of a turnoff. So thinking that being like ultra sexual with like every guy is a turn on, it really isn't. I mean, it's really very, very much a turn off. But there are psychological issues to go along with this as well. So yeah, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything. So let me play this first part. It's only about 45 seconds where she claims that this right is not really this is not really a thing for everybody.
Eight.
I think I had a yum yum, and I think I had a sandwich, and that was kind of, and then the rest. It's not for the weak, girls. If I'm honest, it was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it.
Why not?
I think if you're a different type of girl, it's very like, it's kind of like being a prostitute in a sense of like, it's just a different feeling. I don't know how to explain it, like.
It's not like just having sex with someone.
Yeah. Just one in, one out, like it feels intense.
Like more intense than you thought it might.
Now, gang, real quick, I want you to pay closer attention to the facial expressions, the way things are said versus what's actually said. In the article, there's a detail on exactly how this process went. And this right here is the thing that makes this right here much, much more degenerate and much, much more evil than you might would think. So this girl, supposedly 24 hours, she's supposed to bed down 100 dudes. And of course, now she wants to bed down 1,000, as she would later on explain.
Saturday, I got run through by 101 guys. Now, I've had a lot of backlash so far about it, and I've seen some of the videos and I see your side. Like, I am not trying to encourage other girls to be doing that, like if they don't want to and feel like they have to do that. But my side is like, I'm just a girl trying to enjoy myself, trying to have fun, trying to make some content for you all, you know, trying to get my bag. Like, this is fun to me, this is what I enjoy, no one is forcing me to do this. And I feel like we're going back in time to where women are getting shamed for being a sluzzer, when I thought that's what we were trying to get away from.
We'll talk about that clip again here towards the end of the video, because I think that, yeah, we'll get to that here in a sec, because there's obviously a lot more to deconstruct from that. But here's the thing. 24 hours, these guys were supposed to be allowed 5 minutes. 5 minutes is what they were allowed. But originally she said, well, I don't know how we're going to do this. One pump and that's it. Well, here's the reason why I'm bringing this up. Supposedly, there were other OnlyFans girls, other OnlyFans porn stars there, or girls who do porn on their content that were there as fluffers. The reason why the fluffers were there was so that way the men who roughly had maybe a minute or maybe couldn't get it up in 5 minutes, they would go finish on the fluffers. Meaning that the degeneracy, whatever potential STDs, which by the way, somebody's going to say they were probably all wearing condoms. I understand that, but let's be honest. Condoms are only about 85% effective unless maybe they have spermicide, and this right here is England, so I really and truly don't know the actual specifics. And while most of the men's faces are in fact blurred out, I'm pretty sure that there were some concerns by some men who said, I don't want to take part in this, I don't want my face anywhere, and some of course just actually bailed out. Like I said, we'll get to the men issue here in a second because we got women out there actually attacking the men, saying that they should be shamed just as hard, if not harder, than the girl who actually did the deed. I think you should also shame the other OnlyFans girls who partook in this right here too, because the whole point of them being there was to help these guys get off in case they could not get off with Miss Phillips, which is something that she would in fact bring up in the next segment, which we'll look somewhat at a little bit, but of course I got to do it bit by bit because of copyright. The truth be told is, if there's somebody out there who needs to be shamed, it's not just her, it's the people who did the entire setup. And of course, I would also argue that the men who took part in this fire should also be shamed as well, however, shamed a little bit differently. But apparently there's 30-some odd souls who decided to bail out at the last moment, so while they were definitely willing to partake, I do got to give them some credit for growing a bit of a conscience. But let's look at this.
I was like feeling so like robotic. Like by I think like the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like if I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known.
I guess she just doesn't feel human anymore, but that will come up a little bit later on. I felt robotic. Meaning that there was actually no feeling there. She even kind of said that she kind of disassociated herself, while at the same time saying she only remembered maybe 5, 6, maybe 10 guys, meaning that she didn't remember any of them. No names, no face, no nothing. Just 100-some odd guys who just went in through her back door, and she didn't even, no, not even that there. I mean, even whores, oftentimes that you have a one-nighter with, will at least get your name. There will be a lot of trauma in this girl's life going forward. But there's more to talk about. Let's play the rest of this.
I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know. But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them, and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Did someone say that to you?
Yeah. And obviously it just makes me feel so bad.
Do you think you should feel bad about that?
I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down.
But it's up to you, right? Like when you know.
Yeah.
Have you even processed, do you think, what's happened?
Not yet. God, I won't forget this day, Jesus.
When I decided to start making this documentary, I wasn't too sure of what to expect. I certainly didn't expect to see Lily so upset at the end of it all.
Yet, once again, you plan on then repeating this effort, this time with 1,000 guys. And something else too, go back to what I was saying about that part where she talked about she felt robotic. The dignity is gone, and then to go on top of that, the humanity is also gone as well. Like, she probably does not feel human anymore. This person is going to have some serious psychological and emotional issues going forward, and definitely some spiritual ones, but I'll touch on that at the very end because the stigma will always be there. Just saying. Okay, this was sick. It was twisted. And obviously, the people who partook in this right here should probably have their heads examined as well. Anything you can get for the almighty dollar, I guess. By the way, I'm very, very much a true capitalist. However, I do not believe that you should basically whore yourself out for basically dimes on the dollar, or pennies on the dollar, whichever phrase you might want to use. This right here has been getting traction for a reason, and people are wondering why it is that this girl did this. As I've said before, I personally think what happened was that this girl, if you actually look into her past, you'll find that she was very, very much the shy type, and she didn't get male attention. Then, of course, at some point in time, she probably started hitting the gym. She probably started dressing a little bit different. She began to start liking male validation, and, of course, after a while, it just kind of went from there. She became a whore later on rather than earlier. That right there is what I think is going on here, and obviously, as you guys can tell by the body language, the way she talks, the words that she has said, she probably did not expect this to be as bad as it is. Of course, she's putting on mostly bravado. Like I said, this right is a girl who is mostly a girl who is what? False bravado. This false bravado topic will be coming up tomorrow, so I'm giving you guys a bit of a heads up, because when we talk about the Sophie Rain issue and the true problem with OnlyFans and OnlyFans content creators, you guys will see what I mean by the phrase false bravado. This girl right here obviously did the deed. Will this girl ever regret doing the deed? She probably will, though she'll never say it out loud, because this girl right here will be forever known as the girl who slept with 100 guys on camera, 101 to be exact. I mean, what's the age-old saying? What is it again? If a man builds 1,000 bridges, but yet he sucks one dick to the world, he's not a bridge builder, he's a cocksucker. That right there is what this girl is basically going to be known for, just a great big giant hoe. But now we get to the topic of the men. So we got these people out here who are saying that the men are just as guilty. And let me go ahead and tell you right now, I agree. I agree. But still, though, at the same time, I think that the only reason why these ladies are pointing out that the men are just as guilty is to kind of mask their own insecurities about the situation. We still have to defend her and protect her because she's one of us. Dude, if you sleep with a girl in a day after 50 some other odd guys have been in there, I am not going to support you afterwards. I'm going to make fun of you. I'm going to make fun of you because chances are you probably have an STD down. That right there is the real truth about guy shaming versus women shaming. A lot of women went from shaming this girl to all of a sudden now saying it's an outcry of emotion. It's a cry for help, and this girl right here is probably suicidal, stuff like that there. So of course this is to be expected. Of course, women are much, much more emotional creatures. What I'm saying to you is that there's a different type of shaming that men do that's a little bit different in this situation. Not to mention the fact that there were obviously 30-some-odd souls who chose to bail at the last moment. Now, it is possible that some of these guys looked at this as an opportunity of possibly sleeping with two girls because they were informed that if they could not get off, there would be a fluff piece, a fluff girl there to help them get off. Of course, names, identities will obviously not get out there to the public because nobody will actually want to get that out there, even though someday it probably will because the internet does, in fact, live forever. Still, though, obviously this person right here has no dignity anymore. Probably didn't have no dignity to begin with, because if they actually had dignity, they wouldn't have gone through with this. So what happens going forward? Well, this chick now claims that she wants to do 1,000 guys, and of course, I don't think that that's going to be, how do I say it? I don't think it's actually going to be possible for her to be able to do it in one day. Then again, though, you're probably going to hire at least 100 to 200 more fluffs to actually help those guys get off. But then again, at the same time, though, we are seeing that humanity and society is capable as going as low as humanly possible, even below ground, even below low. The fact of the matter is that this girl right here does, in fact, deserve the flack and the shaming that she's getting at this moment in time. However, you got to ask yourself a question. Is this right here somebody that can be redeemed going forward? If you go to the church, if you seek God, you get saved and become a Christian, and then all of a sudden decide to say, hey, look, I'm just not going to throw it out anymore unless it's the guy I intend to marry, even though I think it's going to be really, really hard for her to do that, then yeah, you can be redeemed because God's love knows no bounds and you can be forgiven. I mean, go back to the topic of the Scythians. Scythians were viewed as absolute worst barbarians, the worst of the worst back in the Old Testament. And of course, even the word of God could reach them and save them. So yes, this girl could probably be redeemed. However, there's a stigma that's going to go along with her that I mentioned earlier, and that is that she's always going to be known as the girl that slept with 100 and some odd guys in one day, possibly 1,000 in one day. All you got to do is go through the Internet Archive to see that she had been on Fresh and Fit, to see that not only had she been on Fresh and Fit, but she had also at the same time basically advertised herself with the whole I just like to shag bit right there on the Whatever podcast. Fact of the matter is that this girl right here is probably going to take her a very, very long time to get over this. And even though she plans on sleeping with 1,000 guys, a big part of me believes that she probably won't do it. But then again, though, I could be wrong because you see, sometimes shame, and while shaming does work and I am a fan of shaming, it needs to be done more one-on-one. If it's done publicly, a person might respond in the exact opposite that you might would think that they would, because they've obviously got to prove a point. I think the best thing that could happen in this situation with this girl here is just don't give her no attention. Unsubscribe from the OnlyFans account if you are a subscriber, which, by the way, you should be subscribed to OnlyFans anyways, because you're paying to watch somebody else do what the hell you should probably learn to do, as in go find an actual woman physically and maybe create a family or whatnot. But still, though, we got a lot of guys who don't want to do that. Of course, we got some that just fail at it tremendously. But still, the point is this right here. If you really and truly want to fix this issue, if you really and truly want to make sure that this girl gets back on the right track, just don't give her no freaking attention. Because at the end of the day, that right there is what the hell this really and truly is all about. Validation and attention. Even though the validation and attention that she's seeking is obviously a sick, twisted, morbid type. But you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. We'll be having another video out tomorrow, not so much on this topic here, but it will definitely be going back to this topic, because we got to talk about the girl who apparently is now saying that she didn't sleep with a single person, and yet she got paid $43 million for her content. Stick around for that there. Make sure you guys please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.